Yeah, this the bunker. This the bunker. Welcome to the bunker. This the bunker. Yeah, this the bunker. This the bunker.
Good people, what's up? Let's go. Listen, how we doing? Happy Wednesday, man. Happy Wednesday. Excited to be here, man. Hope y'all are well. We are live, and this is the Breakthrough Bunker. I'm your host, Murph, aka Mr. Motivation. I'm flat out excited to be here. This is where we turn obstacles into stepping stones and dreams into reality. Listen, today we got a treat. Next up on the bunker, he is a transformational leader, founder of a nonprofit, youth mentor, and reentry advocate. Today's guest, Ronald Waddell Jr. He's more than a nonprofit founder or leadership coach. He is a systems changer, a healer, a healing-centered leader, rather, and a man who turned pain into purpose. From reentry to reinvention, Ronald Waddell Jr. is living proof that redemption is possible and that real leadership starts from within. This conversation is going to be about legacy, leadership, and the courage to heal, from the streets to the strategy table. But before we bring him out, you know we got to kick things off with the 3, 2, 1 with Murph. You know where I share 3 thoughts, 2 quotes, and 1 question or prompt for you. So my first thought, leadership that heals. True leadership is not about titles. It's about creating spaces where people can reclaim their humanity and their hope. I was just on a podcast the other night, Warriors Unmasked. Shouts out to the host, Chuck Thuss. We talked about leadership. As a matter of fact, he recommended, I don't have it. It's in my Amazon cart now. The Leadership Secrets of Nick Saban by John Talty. And I'm going to tap into that. But today I want to talk about turning lived experiences into lasting change. The lessons we learn in our toughest seasons can become the systems we change to help others. Meaning you can turn your hardest moments into blueprints for change so others don't have to go through what you did. And the last thought, legacy, actually is another quote, is an extra quote on that thought. How does it go? The true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shades you'll never get to enjoy. So this is thinking about, this is long-term thinking. This is about selflessness, and it speaks to legacy. And lastly, legacy is a daily choice. The impact you leave is built moment by moment, choice by choice, especially when no one is watching, especially when no one is watching. Here's the reality. Every choice shapes our legacy, small or big. They quietly add up to define who you are and what you leave behind. Until the world sees you differently. Hold on, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to enable the chat just in case. Let's go connect the chat. Yeah, boom. And the next one is the measure of a leader isn't just in the goals they achieve, but in the lives they help rebuild. I like that one. I like that one. All right. That's my two. Actually, I got three. And I have a prompt for you. Hold on. Let me just say what up in the chat. Shouts out to everyone tuned in. Boom. Make sure that's cooking. All right. One prompt for you. One prompt for you. I don't know why my LinkedIn don't be connecting. It shows it's connecting when I go live, but Facebook and YouTube. Shouts out to Facebook and YouTube. One prompt. What part of your own story, especially the hard parts, could you turn into a solution that helps someone else heal? What could you, from your story, take and use and turn that into a solution that you can help someone else heal? And that's wild, right? Like, I actually just lost my guest. We gotta wait. Hope he tap back in. He was in the green room. But even when I do, the breakthrough bunker, Mr. Motivation, I think the foundation for building out my platform was to use my story, use my journey, and the struggles that I went through, the setbacks I went through, and just tell the tale. Because what happens is people all over the world who experience similar things, who had similar setbacks, who had similar struggles. And then if I share my story and what I did and how I got through it, it can help them. So now they don't have to go through those pitfalls. And that's what it's about. Is I was talking about legacy and was it not building, but growing a tree that provides shade that you'll never enjoy. That's what it's about. Helping others, selfless service, one of my favorite Army values. Timothy, shouts out to you, brother. Thanks for tapping in. We just lost Ron. Ron, let me see if I text him. We lost him. He was here. I just talked to him. Gee, we lost you. Tech man, gift and a curse. Gift and a curse. Well, let's see. Wasn't expecting this, right? But it happens. I'll tell a story while we wait for Ron to come in, because I got to do his dope intro and give him his flowers. I told him we're going to start on parenthood because he got so much directions we could go. I told him we're going to start on parenthood. And as I was getting ready to come on live, my daughter, she had to do some, her reading and her math. She said, Daddy, I did all my work. I got the laptop set up. I'm upstairs. I'm be ready for you live. I'm tuned in. And I'm like, oh, that's my girl, my son right behind her. It's just a beautiful thing, man, when your kids buy into what you're doing. It's a dopeness. My heart is full. You know what I'm saying? It speaks to the work that we're doing in our household. All right, good people, my man is back. Let me get this intro because he needs to hear these flowers, right? So, from the streets to the strategy table, today's guest is redefining what leadership looks like. Ronald Waddell Jr. is the founder and CEO of Legendary Legacies, a 7-figure nonprofit transforming the lives of justice-involved young men, and the driving force behind the Auxano, he might help me pronounce that, Leadership Group, where he equips leaders to lead from the inside out. He's a healing center leader, a systems changer, a living proof redemption is possible with authenticity, hard-earned wisdom, and a heart for legacy. Ronald is helping the next generation rewrite their futures one choice at a time. Viewers and listeners, come to the stage, Mr. Waddell. Yeah.
Hey, what up with you, Murph?
Guy. Welcome, brother. Welcome. How you feeling?
Man, after that introduction, I'm gonna have to bring you everywhere I go. Got me gassed up, man. Got me really feeling myself.
Bro, I love it. Listen, excited to have you here. We was talking in the green room. I took 2 weeks off. I had some travel, so I was excited to just get back in it as I was prepping today. So I don't know where this conversation is gonna go, but I know it's gonna drop some gems, and it's gonna. I always tell people when I give talks, Everything I say or Mr. Ron gonna say tonight may not be for you, but know this: it only takes one thing to change everything. And with that being said, Ron, tap in. Tell the people how we know each other.
Yo, this is kind of wild because I was thinking about that while I was sitting in the green room, and actually, I met your wife before I met you.
Mm,
I met Sharice before I met you, and here in Worcester, the black community is small and it's tight knit, and
check.
so she had pulled up from I think I was in PA,
PA, yup.
and I got to talking with her because I was born in Chester, and she was like, "Oh, you gotta meet my husband. You gotta meet my husband, Sean. You gotta know. You gotta talk to him. Blah blah blah. What you doing? All that." And I was like, "Cool, for sure." People get busy, and then next thing you know, I show up to the barbershop run club, and old boy's there with the vest on, ready to get it in. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm Sean Murphy," and I'm like, "Oh, hold up." Made the connection,
Yeah,
and then the rest is history, man.
yeah,
So
indeed.
it's been a pleasure following you and all the great things you're doing. Congrats on the release of the book,
Oh,
Unbreakable Valor, and all the gems that are in there.
well done.
So for sure, that's how we got
Yeah.
linked up.
Yo, life is funny, man. And remember, good people connect with good people. And I think we got on each other calendar once, and then we had a scheduling conflict. So we've been playing, it was a cat and mouse. But and one of the reasons I created this platform, I wanted to like people I know tap in with and connect and then learn more about them and then help you and them promote whatever they're doing. So it's a lot of different things happening on this just one live, which is a beautiful thing. So, Ron, brother, you are loaded. So we're gonna just start off with fatherhood. Let's start there. So talk to me about how was your origin story? How did you grow up with dad? What was your household like?
Yeah, it's interesting, Murph, to kick off on fatherhood. I'm actually a week removed from my father's passing.
Ooh.
And the complexities of that are rooted in my origin story in which you asked. So I grew up in South Jersey. My father was from Chester, PA. For those listeners that don't know, back in the early '80s, mid '80s, even now it ain't great, but Chester used to be like in the top 10 most dangerous um, cities in America, right?
Mm,
Um, my dad he moved the family out of Chester to the suburbs of New Jersey. But how they say you can move out of the hood, but the hood didn't leave him. And I think a lot of that had to do with a lot of the trauma and stuff that he went through. But he ended up leaving my mother and my three sisters and I. So I'm one boy, three sisters. I'm the third one. And so I grew up in the suburbs without a father who was cyclically incarcerated. And then, I mean, he developed a really serious substance use disorder.
mm,
Um, and so I ain't really know the dude
mm,
at all. Like I ain't know the cat.
mm,
And then my mother passed away when I was 15. And so I had a lot of resentment
mm,
toward him. My mother passed from cancer, and so I blamed him for not being there. It really rocked my spirituality. I grew up heavy in the church. Mom was on that every day. Whole family on that every day.
mm,
Grandmother taught Sunday school. If I didn't get the answers right, she's going, "Hey, Karen, your boy was in the class today. I asked him this, and he ain't know." So I had
mm.
to always be on point. And then when my mom passed away, I ended up moving. That's how I got to Massachusetts. I
Okay.
moved up here when I was 15 after living with my second oldest sister. She had moved into the familial home and she had a boyfriend, Troy, he was abusive physically, verbally,
Mm,
emotionally. And me and him got into it. And it was at a point where she said, "You gotta go." So I moved to Massachusetts with my second oldest sister to Westboro. And so I came to Massachusetts in '96, was with them for a year, my junior year.
mm,
Um, I found out about weed, alcohol, all that, because my sisters and them wasn't heavy on the spirituality church movement. and the kids up here was doing their thing while they
Mm,
was experimenting. I'm finding myself healing. I didn't know that at the time, but I'm numbing out on all the trauma I've been through. And so
mm,
they asked me to leave. I was homeless the beginning of my senior year of high school. Family took me in, and I was able to finish high school, and then enrolled in Bridgewater State. So it's interesting to ask about fatherhood because, like I said, I'm 1 week removed from his passing. What I can say though is I'm happy I went to go see him in April.
okay.
Um, that news came to me from one of my sisters that he wasn't doing well. And what was real interesting to me, and this all kind of connects to this conversation around legacy too,
Mm-hmm.
because I have two sons. I have a 13-year Joshua and a 11-year-old Isaiah, and they had never met my father, their grandfather, and so
Mm,
they knew my story. They knew, kind of what I've been through, and so I had this opportunity, y'all, like in my hands. All right, cool. Like, do I go visit? I'm a junior, so I go visit my dad, Ronald Sr., and I had told my sons about it, and they wanted to meet him. So I really felt compelled after a lot of wrestling with my own emotions to go with my sons for them to meet my father
mm,
because what I needed them to see in that moment in the hospital room was no matter what this man who was my father been through, that I'm still gonna go down there, show love and respect. And really, as I learned about my father, he grew up without his father. His story is wild.
mm,
And so part of me being there, my son's there in the room, I wanted to speak a father's blessing on him because even though he's my father, he's never had that. And so what I was able to do, man, I'm getting like the
mm,
goosebump because I was just in the moment when I was there, but it was like, hey, Pop, I want you to know that you're valuable and you're worthy. Like real talk. Like I don't know if ever told you that, but like I
wow.
don't hold nothing against you, and like you're valuable and you're a blessing. I just want you to know that, bro.
Mm,
Like the decision you made to move us to the burbs. I don't know what that was like for you, but that drastically changed my life and put me in a whole different situation. And I just
mm,
want to let you know that I'm blessed for that. And so to
mm,
be able to share that message with him, with my sons there, them meeting them for the first time,
mm,
man, it was emotional. It was emotional.
mm.
Um, that's the last time my belly cried, man. Looked ugly because I
Yo,
held it. I held it together
well,
in the room, but
condolences,
after, nah, man, I was rocked.
yeah, condolences to you and the family. That's huge though, because it's like you've dealt with this for all these years, but now you gotta be bigger than yourself for your kids. To be like, yo, y'all know my story, but regardless of all that I went through, like we gonna show up, and I'm gonna give him his flowers because, like you said, and I always say, sometimes we get mad at people for whether it's not loving us how we want them to love us, but they might have loved you with all they had when you step back and like kind of like have that tactical empathy, like this might have been all Buddy had, and being grounded in gratitude. So that's a moment. Wow. I mean, I'm sure you and your kids will probably expand on this as they get older. They might ask even more questions to like, why'd you do that, even though he put you through all of this? When they get a little, more emotionally intelligent. But thank you for sharing, man. So we got similar upbringings because my pops, I lost him. Well, I never knew him, but he got murdered when I was 6. And
Mm,
I think for me, I remember when I was young, I was using it as a crutch. I was acting out, this, and that. But as an adult, I didn't want to be. I didn't want to go into fatherhood. I was like, I don't even know what that looks like. I don't know how to get started. Ain't no blueprint. And I think it was like subconsciously that fear was there because I didn't see what fatherhood looked like. You get me? And I always tell people when I do talks or whatever, I asked myself, how do you become a dope dad if you never seen one? And for me, I just dreamt what I wish I had, and I'm sure you could probably relate to that. Now, with so yeah, I got some of these questions. So, how was growing up? How you grew up with your origin story and your relationship with your dad? How were you going into parenthood? Were you ready for fatherhood?
Bro, I was hyped. I was ready, man. I was totally ready. I was watching an interview earlier today with Boogie Cousins talking to KG,
Okay.
and he was like, "Hey, yo, Boog, like who is your influences, right?" And Boogie was like, "Well, I watched this dude and I watched that dude, and I took a little bit from here." He's like, "I didn't really have one." I share that context because that's really kind of how I grew up. Like I was watching other men, other fathers, whether it be dudes on TV, whether it be my cousins, uncle, whatever,
Mm,
and it was like, "Oh, I like how he do that."
mm-hmm.
Um, I like how I like his work ethic. I like how he shows the emotional side of himself. One of my uncles,
Mm-hmm.
another one of my cousins, like was always his father was always giving him hugs, like kisses and
Mm.
stuff. I remember seeing one video of Will Smith doing that with Jaden, and I was like, "Yo, I like that." You know what I mean?
Right.
And so for me, it was like pulling pieces,
Mm.
almost like it's like constructing on like some transformer type. Let me put this together on what what I would have wanted in my life. Like, how do they do that? And then try to put that together.
So
And
you
so
kind of do,
the way
yeah.
I've seen it, Murph, is like it goes one of two ways. Like either either you become the antithesis of what happened, or you replicate what happened. And
Mm.
I was the one that was like, I just don't I want to do it different. Real talk, it was the moments, man. So for me, and my condolences to you for your father so early, man. That's heavy.
Yeah. Appreciate
So for me, there were all these broken commitments that he
you.
would say, like, oh, I'm gonna come through, we gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that, right? And so like I would be hyped, I'm gonna see my pop, we gonna do this, and then oh, he ain't coming. And this back in the day, no cell phone. So
Cell phone.
I
You
mean,
just
dude
waiting.
just didn't show up.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? That's one of my like I don't really call it pet peeves. I tell people don't promise my kids nothing. Like, listen, for me, my kids will tell you, Daddy, can I? It's possible. If I say yes, oh, we locked in. But if it's maybe, no, I'm gonna tell you, it's a strong possible, but because I never experienced that because my pops wasn't there, but I watched that in some of my dudes and do that, and they dads would just be like no shows, and they here waiting and waiting. I'm like, dang, this gotta suck, and I just never wanted that experience like for my kids. No, don't promise nothing if I don't totally control it. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I think I read the book of the Four Agreements, be impeccable with your word. Like if I say I'm gonna do something, we
Impeccable.
locked in. You know what I'm saying? And I live that. So man, that's interesting, man. I think we could talk about. We might need another call just for fatherhood.
Right.
Oh man, that's you got two boys. So I got my daughter, about to be 9. Shouts out to V Rain who's watching, and Max. He about to be 7 in December. Um, here's a funny thing because you had two, and we always want a boy. You're a dude, you want your boy. And I remember having 2 shirts designed because we had a reveal, and both were J quotes. I bought the sins of my daughter, so my sons will have to pay something. And I had on the blue joint, and when we popped it, it was pink. I had to run upstairs and change my shirt. And, and my daughter came out, buddy. Listen, that was my road dog. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
But and then Max came, and now Max, that's my young G. So I say best of both worlds. But yeah, we definitely gonna connect some more farther. But I know I wanna get into like the stuff you're doing, man. So Legendary Legacies, how did that come up? Dope title, dope name. How did that come about? Your nonprofit.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's funny because that wasn't even the name I wanted, man. That was we had first started Legacy Builders And when we went to the state, there was already a company, construction company, using that, so we had to pivot real quick.
Okay.
And now we got Legendary Legacies. People find it hard to say, so you could just say LL. You know what I mean? He's LL.
I like that.
um, I mean, how did it really come about, man? There's three main points or three main moments that really drive this work. One, we just talked about my origin story growing up in that situation,
Check.
without a father and dealing with homelessness. That was one,
Mm,
because that kind of softened my heart to always, kind of that quote, to be what you didn't have when you were younger, right? And so
mm,
when I was in construction, I was a project manager in construction. I was still volunteering after school programs. Um, I ended up having a foster son who was 15 when I was 22, because he was homeless,
mm,
at one of the programs. He came and lived with me for 2 years. And so doing some of that work in the community, I got linked up with my friend Jose Encarnacion out here, who was doing some Bible studies in a detention center. So I
mm,
started going with him to that joint, meeting some of them young brothers in there. And while I was in there one night, one of the guys in the community that I had been building with, doing some block parties with, his name was Dalen O'Madigan. He was shot and killed.
mm.
And that was the first time for me that I was that close to gun violence. And so that rocked me.
Mm,
Fast forward 2016, I leave actually 2015. I leave the construction work, start a consulting business of my own, because I mean, they were growing. They started making some decisions that conflicted with my own personal values, and so I
mm,
was like, all right, I'm gonna go out and do this thing on my own. Did that for like 2 or 3 years. That's a grind. And then I got an opportunity to work for an organization called Straight Ahead Ministries, who was involved in juvenile justice,
mm,
and I became their site director. We was working with 100, young men and women between 17 and 25, mostly grant funded. This was a nonprofit.
mm.
And then in 2018, they decided to move away from a grant that was funding my position.
Check.
So now I got a decision to make, right? Like, is we going back to the construction game? Is we going what we going to do?
Mm,
I was at Boston University. I was taking a graduate course in nonprofit management and leadership. Always trying to stay sharp. Always trying to perfect my craft. And so that was the work I was in.
mm.
And I'm talking with my cohort, and I'm telling them my challenge, and they said, "You gotta start your own nonprofit, bro." I said, "I don't really know how to do that." And they was like, "You gotta figure it out."
Mm,
And that was 2018. Um, I mean, I got with some folks. I mean, this story is interesting. I mean, but I really had no idea what I was doing. I got with some folks. I filled out my paperwork. I filed it. I'll tell you how green I was. Is my first. I knew I needed money, so I went to the Greater Worcester Community Foundation,
mm,
like a month after I filed my paperwork, bro.
mm,
And I rolled up in there. I was like, I'm a new nonprofit. Basically, I need some bread so I can do this work. They was like, how long you been in business, man? I was like, look, I filed my paperwork a month ago. They was like, bro, we can't even mess with you till you've been in business 3 years. You know what I mean? Like, you out
mm.
here wilding. Um, but yeah, that's the origin, man. Those things all kind of came together in that moment. And when they moved away from the grant, it wasn't even so much about, me wanting to run my own nonprofit. It was more back to the conversation we were having, my personal story, understanding like we had built with these brothers for like 2 3 years, and that idea of re-triggering abandonment, re-triggering trauma, rejection,
Mm.
like to me it was bigger than an administrative decision, right? Like
Check.
these was lives. And so how do I
Mm,
tell old boy, old girl, like, nah, we're not doing this no more, when we shared real, personal, intimate moments about your life, about where you at in some spaces, conversations y'all never had,
Mm-hmm.
and just to be like, all right, bet I'm out. So
Right.
all them things kind of came together, man, and we launched that thing in 2018, and we've been blessed ever since.
So Ron, for clarity, now you a lot of the work is with reentry, right?
Yeah, yeah. Our work really is at the high level, public safety.
Okay.
And then I would say underneath that is what we call CVI, so community violence interruption and reentry work. So we work with men 18 plus who are at the highest risk of being perpetrators or affected parties of violence. And
Mhm.
so those are those that are coming out of incarceration, and those are in parts of our community that have been uh, disinvested in,
Mm.
and have gone through quite a bit of trauma themselves.
Now, for the listeners and viewers, did you experience incarceration and come back in, or is this stem from the work you did with the juveniles?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, it's wild because as I've been doing this for some time, there are moments that I feel like imposter because
Mm.
no, I didn't. It wasn't for lack of trying, but by the grace of God, I never was incarcerated. As I've gotten into the work, working with the juvenile justice, then it became just recognizing the inequities in this system, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like just understanding the beast that it is. And like some folks tell you it's broken. I'm not that guy. I'm the guy that's going to tell you it's operating the way they set it up. You
Hello.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I feel you too on that imposter vibe because I remember in PA, one of my guys, he ran this org called Benchmark, and they deal with a lot of at-risk youth, but they use working out at gym facilities to mentor. And he would say, Murph, you want to come to this, the detention spot and talk to some of the people that's doing some time. And I went, but I was like, I don't directly relate because I ain't down for no time. So I'm like, is it received? Are they even listening? The one thing that got me through it is like at the end of the day, if you want, remember, life's about choices. If y'all want to make the choice to not come back here, I can help you facilitate that when you on your way out and to not come back. And that has nothing to do with whether definitely feel you on that one in terms of like having that feeling like, but they still need to hear it. So definitely shouts out to you for pushing through despite not having that lived experience.
And I appreciate that, Murph. I mean, one thing for me that I will brag about the org is 80% of our employees are formerly incarcerated.
Mm.
I mean, my program director, like on down, high levels, part of it for me was, all right, bet. Like, I know how I show up, I know how I present in these spaces. And it's about how do I leverage my privilege? How do I leverage the gifts that God's given me to accelerate those who weren't given chances?
Mm.
Even when I was doing this work, I would sit at a bunch of tables and we'd be talking about reentry and all that. And I'd be like, well, where the folks that dealt with it? Like, I mean, I'm here, cool. I'm gonna speak on their behalf, but like, we not gonna bring them to the table. Like, we all here trying to figure out how we gonna help them out, but not having them at the table. And so for us, it's about investing in them so that they become the leaders that they need to be, so they can return to their community and help their community heal. That's what
You know what?
Legendary is all about.
Even expanding on that, and I've sat on a lot of boards. A lot of times it's because I'm a black dude, and they want to have diversity at the table. But I didn't really know about the board service, 10 years ago. And, they pulled me in and I'm like, wait, all these decisions getting made about, low income communities and poverty, but no one with lived experience is at the table, except for I just got here. But I'm like, how y'all been doing this for all these years? It just didn't make sense to me. So when I teach at college now, I'm about to start a QCC, and I encourage our youths, like, yo, tap into community engagement, learn about a board, what you're passionate about, get on the board, because that's where the change happens. You know what I mean? The board, they shape the community. But a lot of the scholars don't even know that that's the thing. They want to be the CEO of this or CEO of that. Get on the board and impact change. So that's one of the things I love to share with our youth and educate them about community engagement, civic engagement, and things so on and so forth. But yeah, I mean, you spot on with it. They got to be at the table to help build this thing out.
Bro, that I'm so excited to hear that. Congratulations on that placement at QCC.
Oh,
Um, that's what's up. That's what's up. They we you gonna be a problem over there in a good way. Um, but you're absolutely right, man. I'm also on the board of the Greater Worcester Community Foundation, which
okay.
is the largest philanthropic entity outside of Boston in Massachusetts. And so sitting at that table and helping making sure that some of those decisions from the funding perspective come down the right way as well.
Mm,
And like you said, it's just interesting. So many of the young men that I have the privilege of working with and crossroads with, it's just unfamiliar
mm.
that your situation that you're in a lot of ways is being decided by people who have no idea.
Zero clue.
None.
Mm-mm.
You
No.
know, we had a voting academy out here a couple years ago, and it's wild because we had 6 dudes in there, and they were all, which is kind of rare for us because a number of our guys will get high set or GED, but
Okay.
these 6 had actually graduated from Worcester High School. And so it was a voting program to promote. Uh, it was to train them to go back to the block to get their friends to sign up to be registered voters. Right? It was like, bro, we need to give y'all the skill. They ain't gonna listen to me, but we gonna get y'all right.
Right.
And so just showing them the geographic outline of the city of Worcester. Initially, they didn't know what they was looking at. And then we started breaking down districts. They was like districts. They was like, no, that's the east, that's the south, like that's the west. Nah, bro.
Mm,
There's somebody that's making decisions in that district that you
mhm.
know as the east or the south. That's that's perpetuating certain
Right.
situations. And you can see their eyes. What for real? Yo, that's how the superintendent get in office. That's how this person get here. And that's how these decisions is made, and kind of seen them start to make the connect the dots. So I love
Mhm.
that you're promoting that civic engagement. It's huge, bro.
No, no, for sure, for sure. It is huge, and I mean, I think we need to be starting at the high school level. What program I was in? I did leadership Lancaster. I know we got leadership Worcester. I'm gonna have to explore that, and they were heavy on like civic engagement, just doing talks about that stuff. So that's good stuff. We doing good. We doing good. I want to pivot into we'll bounce. I got my signature 5 questions, maybe in
Yes,
a book.
sir.
What's a belief or mindset shift that changed everything for you, and how did it shape who you are today?
Oh yeah, man. So I was at a conference and I got to meet this brother Shaka Senghor. Shaka did 18 years for a body up in Detroit. He's got a
Mm,
book called Righting My Wrongs. And this bar he dropped changed my whole world, bro. It was right when I started Legendary, and I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work. All that. Anybody who's entrepreneur startup, you kind of been through that phase. You be like, I'm in, but then they some days you be like, I don't know.
right.
And he was talking about his time inside, and then he was talking about how he had a fellowship at MIT.
Hmm.
And what he did at MIT is he was using the things that are available inside incarceration to challenge their students to make the contraptions that he made, whether it be a lighter, whether it be a tattoo gun, right?
Mm,
And so they had like 4 hours to figure out how to do it, and they couldn't do it. And this was the bar he dropped that changed the game for me. He said, genius is defined by who controls the narrative.
mm.
Because his
Mm,
point was like, if there was dudes at MIT doing this, they would have said they was geniuses.
mm-hmm.
But the fact that he had figured out how to do this, and mad dudes had figured out how to do this while incarcerated, they was just criminals, break right. And so for me, it was like, wow, because I had carried my story as a negative, as a burden, as like, oh man, it's no good. But it was like, I'm gonna own this narrative myself, and
Mm,
I'm gonna drive that conversation. Like
mm,
you can't, you don't get to tell me what my story meant.
mm.
I get to drive with growing up homeless without a like, oh, that's so sad. Maybe,
Right, right.
maybe, or it has taught me tremendous resilience. It's taught me uh, problem solving skills that I might not have gotten. It's
Mm-hmm.
taught me um, so much, right? Like,
Yeah.
and so the ability to say I'm going to control my own narrative uh, was a real game changer for me in life.
I like that. So for listeners and viewers, let's be absolutely clear. I am a thief. I steal thoughts and quotes and then I make it my own. So this again. I always say that every day is a blank canvas. Paint the life you want. You know what I'm saying? But this, the controlling of the narrative, powerful. And so I remember when I grew up in the hood, and one, I don't know who organized it, but it was like a community trip to Rikers Island, and I had to be in like middle school. So we go to Rikers Island, and it was crazy, right? But they would show us the weapons they would make and create from like a toothbrush, and I'm like, dang, but dudes go to jail and then their genius just opens up. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, we could do this back home. And I'm sure there's a lot of factors involved there, but to that point. So when you said that, I was just like, wow, I get it. Genius is defined by who controls the narrative. I thank you for that one, brother. That's a gem. Hope y'all taking note of that.
Hey
Um,
man, take that, spread that, because I
yeah,
think that is one of them joints that's a game changer for
yeah,
folks.
yeah. I like that a lot. Um, Question: What keeps your fire lit, man? Especially when progress feels slow or the odds feel stacked against you. Yeah. What keeps you going?
Well, there's a couple. One, I had to learn to take step back.
Mm,
That's not something I used to do. Um, People can talk to you about that, tell you that, but listeners, for real, if you are in caring work, if you are in healing work, if you're doing any of that, like to keep yourself going, you got to take care of yourself. So, one, I've got a meditation practice that I'm rigorous about. My spirituality, those are things that keep me refreshed.
mm,
Now, also, is I see myself as an underdog, and I've always just loved the underdog story, man.
mm,
That's one of my quotes is I'm relentlessly committed to the underdog's victory, and so I just love to see people that's not supposed to win. You know what I
mm-hmm,
mean? And so most of the brothers that I'm encountering are up against a lot, whether it be personally, financially, socially, emotionally, all these different areas, and so really what keeps me going is the moments like I had yesterday, meeting with one of the young brothers who was sharing about what was going on in his life,
mm-hmm,
um, the challenges he was having, his ability to put his feelings into articulate his words,
mm,
uh, but what he was doing was choosing something different.
mm,
Because he was like, bro, if I stay in this situation, I know I'm just going to end up back in the pen. And Ron, I'm not trying to do that, but this situation has really got me rocked. And so, like, what? So it was like, all right, cool. What can we do? We worked him through. Did some motivational interviewing. My man's going to take a break. He's going to go out to Connecticut for a couple of days, get his head cleared, and then he's going to come back and we're going to work through stuff. But
mm,
that right there is game changing to me because that's transformation and the
mm,
ability to see people um yeah, bro, the ability to see people start to own their own potential, bro,
mm,
that's intoxicating to me. I'm
mm.
trying to tell you, bro. when that happens, whether it be my son, whether it be
Right.
uh, guys I'm working with, it could be daggone. Like I'm rooting for Bronny James, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, start dropping 25 a game after all this mess they talking about you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that ability to harness that and overcome that is just inspiring. It's
Mhm.
intoxicating and really, really motivating to me, man.
Mhm.
Um, and then lastly, my sons, bro. Like it's something about the seed,
Mhm.
that responsibility. Um, what I'm sowing for them to experience, um, just keeps me going.
Mhm.
And those three things are it, man.
It's powerful.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
it's it's the ability for those who have kids. I hope you get this, and if you're listening and you're not connecting with your children, bro, I hope, or sis, I hope that you figure out how, if you're able, because the ability and the access you have as a parent to influence that
Mhm.
life, that is your legacy, man. Like
Mhm.
that's how you live on, right? Like, and that's how I see it. Um,
Yeah. I often tell my kids, I said, listen, daddy's role in life is to protect your potential. I got to get you where you need to be. Make sure I got you as covered as I can have you covered so you can get where you can then just soar. I'm here to protect your potential. And like you said, that connection with the kids. I know even me, like, I go hard. My son know I go hard with Max. You already know. But I love him up. And what I love too, like, even though I go hard on him, he'll come here, daddy. I'm like, yo, Max, what up? He be, oh, you want snuggles, huh, daddy? Oh, yeah, I need my snuggles, buddy. You know what I'm saying? And growing up, that wasn't even like, dude, it's like, man, get up off me. But like, I've seen fathers love up on their sons, and I'm just like, yo, this is the vibe. Like, I wish I had that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that thing you create what you wish you had. So, fellas, love up on your tough love is cool, but show love too. Because remember, at the end of the day, we got to show our young men how to love. Because they got to grow up in love and love a family and build and grow. And so that foundational piece we are laying for them. So it's super important. What else I got? Money. Ron, what's your relationship with money? And has it always been that way?
oh, bro, growing up, we was broke, bro. We was broke when it wasn't cool. like we, I'm unk, bro. We had the food stamps that you had to pull out with the colors looking like Monopoly money. We
You can
wasn't
rip it off the
swiping.
booklet.
Fam,
Yes,
you already know.
bro.
You
I
already
used
know,
to be sick because you'd be like, there's a
bro.
5, then there's the line back here, 10. Oh, now you got the EBT. Yeah, I remember that, but I was so embarrassed, boy.
So embarrassed, bro. So embarrassed at, and then you hear the people behind you sighing. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
And my mom would send me up the store with the packet of them joints.
Oh,
And and Pete, for me, it's interesting you asked that because where we was at, like my extended family was still in Chester, where it was more like impoverished, a lot more poverty. I was in the burbs, and so like now it's free lunch for everyone, and so we
right.
had the free lunch ticket. Like people knew you was broke. Like
They knew.
people knew. You know what I mean? And so it was always just about scrounging, trying to get by. There was no I ain't know nothing about no savings. I ain't know nothing about um
No financial literacy.
no
So,
financial banking, none of that, man. You
so
kidding me?
when did it turn for you? Because there's a few reasons I asked. There's this book, T. Harv Eker, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, and it talks about your origin story. So, like for example, one of the examples in the book is young female, she ain't, yo, moms, let me get some money to go buy XYZ. And mom said, I don't got no money, go ask your dad. So she grows up, her money mind files is, I gotta go to this dude, male figure, for money. So when she gets older, it's that cycle. And until you identify it and then reprogram your money mind files, you're gonna be stuck. So I asked that question. It's a loaded question because it's like I grew up in poverty too. Like I would tell my kids, I ain't know nothing about no financial literacy until I'm about 30. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh wait, you gotta invest? Oh, wait, you can flip it? Oh, I'm like, you 6 and we doing that now. So that's why I asked.
Yeah, so for me, it landed around 34, 35. That it really landed around 34. I had some insight into it because when I moved from New Jersey to Westboro, I mean, the average house in Westboro, even in the in late '90s, was like 800,000. Like these folks was on a different. These was like the MTV. I remember this one cat when he turned 16. This family bought him an A4, brand new.
Whew.
Yeah, different, bro, different.
Yeah.
And so it was like I was living in that place, Murph, and so it was like, oh, this is not just like on TV fantasy stuff. Like people really be doing this.
Right.
And so then, like, just kind of being around that for a little bit was like, okay, there's a different way to think about this. But I still was in that scarcity, poverty mindset, you know? And then it wasn't until I made that leap when when I left the construction thing and started my own consulting thing, was like, oh, I can make, I had to take this leap. I can make bread on my own. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a grind, but I could do that. And then when I say fully at 34, because I got divorced, and by then I went and linked up with my man, who's a financial advisor. That's who helped me with my bread now. And it was like, one, some of that's rooted in my trauma, not wanting to ask for help. Right. This is the flip side of like, I guess I don't even know if it's a phrase, but I say like toxic resilience was like, I'm not even going to ask nobody. I'm just going to do it my dolo self.
Right.
Which is, there's positive sides to that, but then know your limitations and bringing people that can help you. And
Correct.
so by that point, I linked up with my man, and it's been a game changer since. He really hit me on how to set up my financial structure in a whole different way. And then running this nonprofit, man, like dealing with the bread on that side of like, all right, we need to bring in like budgeting, like, cause I didn't grow up budgeting.
Right.
And so, like, all right, if we need to make payroll this month and we want to keep doing this work, like, what we need to bring in and how we going to do that, and then what's the future? And so now, and learning that, I love what you said, because now I just started doing that with my sons, and we started a business called the Lemonade Bros. It's an LLC, and now these jokers is dangerous, man. These dudes is dangerous. They had me. I'll tell you how dangerous these dudes are, but I love it. They was at an entrepreneurial, like a youth entrepreneur fair a couple weekends ago, and it was $25 for them to get a spot. And I told them, I said, look, I'll front the 25 for you so you can be there. And so we was there. It was a 4-hour thing. 3 hours in, my man Isaiah, like, Dad, we sold to everybody in here. Like, no one else is gonna come through. I'm like, how you know? Bro, I'm telling you, like, we've been here, like, ain't nobody else coming. We should go ahead and wrap it up. I said, well, if we wrap it up, bro, you're gonna owe me that $25. My man said, oh, hold up. Now we've been here for 3 hours. So that's $6.25 an hour. And so really we only owe you about $6.25. And a matter of fact, if you keep talking, it's up to you. The longer we stay here, the less you're gonna get owed back. So what you wanna do?
No.
Bam, he 11.
Oh, buddy.
So I said, wrap it up, bro. Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up.
It's a wrap. Yeah. Listen, hey, let me know. And in the next entrepreneur youth thing, I need to pull up to that.
For sure.
Yeah,
For
because
sure.
I got my kids. Well, we working on they in this robotic animation class now, and so I told my daughter, let's write a book. You know, we get the animation, Mid Journey, AI it. Boop, boop. She said, "Wait, so I can do it? I'm the author?" I said, "Yeah, all you, bro." So you know, we're gonna drop that. I got them. My son every day he be like, "Daddy, let me see my stock." So you open up Fidelity. All right, sure. So I got them on dividend stock. So I said, "You get
Yep.
paid when you sleep." You know,
Yep.
beautiful thing, man. Beautiful thing. Beautiful
Yeah,
thing.
man, definitely. I love that. I got my guys invested into an account as well.
Yeah.
Um, I put bread there, and then for the business, they got their own little bank account, so they gotta do the deposits and
Mm,
kind of manage that too. Just getting
mm,
them to understand how this thing work, man. You
yeah.
know exactly. Different game, bro.
That's dope. Yeah, we got to connect on that too. I like what you're doing there. Um, this is good. Let me see. We're doing good on time. Let me see. You talked about we talked about well actually I want you to promote what you got and how people can support whether it's the nonprofit or Auxano Leadership. How can we support?
I appreciate you, man. So Legendary Legacies, we are a 501c3, completely tax deductible nonprofit. You could go right to our website. It's in the bottom of the screen. Always, donations are crucial, especially in this current zeitgeist with the administration that we have. They are uh, unabashedly cutting back on this type of work that has proven to have positive impact. When you look at the number of cities who have reductions in violence and how that's happening, a lot of that is connected to community violence intervention and reentry coaches that are doing this work. And so a lot of that funding from the federal as well as state level has been cut. And so being able to support from that perspective is always welcome and appreciated. So, I mean, for us, if you're able to go and support $50, $100, whatever you can do, is going to go directly to supporting these brothers, which at the end of the day is really an investment in healthy community. It's not even just about the young brothers, it's about how do we build healthy community.
Mhm.
So you can check us out there. There'll be some other things if you follow us on the website. I'm posting a monthly blog there. Y'all can tap into to all the things we're doing. We're doing some community building out here, and then in the fall, I mean in the winter, stay connected because we do a backpack drive. That's our big drive for welcome home bags. When folks come back from incarceration, a lot of times they're leaving with all they have on their back, and so our coaches are there to pick them up with a bag full of toiletries, undergarments, all your basic necessities, just to let them know that they're valuable, we care about you, and are supporting you. So be on the lookout. Follow us on social, IG, Facebook for those types of things. Those are always coming along. The Auxano Leadership Group. Auxano is a Greek word which means to grow exponentially. And I mean, this is something I'm just launching right now.
Mm.
I'm in the process of working with some coaches to refine all that. So stay tuned. I got a Substack. I'm trying to get like my man, Mr. Motivation. He got the podcast, get everything moving. I'm watching Big Bro to see how I can follow in his footsteps. But a lot of it has to do with what we talked about here, especially male leaders, all leaders, though, of being able to understand that your character is your culture,
Mm.
your development and your ability to continue to grow as a leader is how you impact those that are around you. Whether you are a parent, whether you're leading a team, or whether you're leading an organization or a Fortune 500 company, it don't matter. You can't lead anyone until you can lead yourself. And so
Mm.
that work really is about internal transformation, looking at how you show up in the world, reflecting on that, taking hard feedback and turning it into actionable items.
Mm. Yeah, transformation. I like that a lot. No, thank you, man. Appreciate yo. Go tap in, and we're gonna talk offline because so much synergy here. I'm getting my nonprofit. I mean, it's been live for probably 2 years. Or this is year three, but I moved, so I ain't really active. I want to like, how do I get in our community and build out what I'm doing? And there's a lot of synergy there, so would love to get your insight and help there. And let me know how I could be of like put me in, coach. I could just get involved with what you got going on. I definitely want to support. Yeah. I got one more question before we get out of here. This is one of my staple ones. So you might have touched on this a little bit, but question, what has failure taught you that success never could?
Oh man. I like to make references to a lot of different things. What failure has taught me what success never could. I'm thinking of that movie. I think it was Dark Knight, Christian Bale
Okay.
and Bane.
Mm.
And dude he gets thrown into like a deep pit, and it's like he can't get out of the thing, right? And they keep flashing back, and it takes years for him to get out of it, but he eventually gets out. What failure has taught me is that you can always come back, bro. Success can't teach you that.
Mm.
It
I
taught
like.
me that you can always come back, and like more tangibly for myself, it really showed me what I'm made of, what tenacity is there, what resilience is there, what's capable of
Mm-hmm.
when I'm at my lowest.
Mm.
That's when I really think you understand um, your strength. And
Mm-hmm.
from the scriptures, I, gotta shout out the Most High, because when you're weak, He's made strong. And so, really being able to rely on the Most High in those moments and understand that this is larger than where I'm at,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really taught me within even in all the success, man. We hit failures, and I'm like, look, this too will pass. We're gonna figure this out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Failure, you can always come back. Yeah. Powerful. And that talks a lot, and we touched on this resilience, the bouncing back, you know. And I always tell people, we touched on this, it's about choices, right? Life's gonna beat the heck out of you. And you got a choice. Or there's more. And when you go there's more, your brain starts working, you start figuring things out. Just like the man or woman that says I can, and the one that says that I can't, they're both right. What choice you want to make and what energy you going to put into? But yeah, so oh man, super great conversation, and you and I will continue this.
Yes, sir.
But thank you for joining us, man. Let's go to our outro. Shouts out to everybody tapped in. But that's a wrap, good people. Listen, if this or anything we said spoke to your heart, share this episode. Definitely tap in with the legendlegacy.org. Tap in, share, like, follow. Take a moment to reflect on today's 3-2-1. And remember your action item. Take one bold step. Start where you are. Start with what you have. Just start. Okay. Follow me everywhere. Mr. Motivation. Oh, let's get those tickers going. Let me see. You can follow me on IG, TikTok, all the things. Here we go. Grab your copy of Unbreakable Valor, Triumph Through the Soul of Resilience, out everywhere. Join the Breakthrough Bunker. It's our free community. We'll start our monthly free community calls where you can just tap in. Listen, if you're stuck, if you're struggling, if you're scared, tap in, safe space. We want to help you go next level. We want to help you unearth your gifts and your talents. Subscribe to the Breakthrough Bunker, our newsletter, where we drop gems weekly, a weekly dose of insight, inspiration, and tools to help you grow and go forward. And also, we want to hear from you, man. Send us an email. Actually, I haven't shared this. Oh, let me see. There we go. Send us an email. Any thoughts, insight, questions that you have, and we'll share it out when we're on our live. And always know this: your breakthrough starts with you. Ron, appreciate you, good brother. I'm put you in the green room. Don't leave yet, though. All right,
Yes, sir.
my man. All right. Remember, nothing changes if what? Nothing changes. Breakthrough Bunker, where your next chapter begins with your next choice. Do remember, good people, it's all about you.
I put it on my hood grown, NY, Brownsville, Bed-Stuy. I done came from the lowest low, still walk with my head high. All my life, I've been through it. Made it out, and I'm getting to it. Can't tell me I didn't do it. No passing L's, we skipping clubs. No taking L's, we getting. I put it on my hood grown, NY, Brownsville, Bed-Stuy. I done came from the lowest low, still walk with my head high. All my life,